First speaker Nixthar's crystalline appendages trembled as they studied the readings for the 100th time. In their 3 centuries serving the Galactic Council, they had never encountered anything quite like this. The human vessel, if it could even be called that, defied every principle of spacefaring civilization they had known. Most peculiar, they hummed, their bioluminescent patterns shifting with confusion. Admiral Vasquez, you say this vessel, the Quantum Forge, represents the entirety of humanity's delegation. Admiral Thora Vasquez stood calmly before the council chamber, her dark eyes reflecting the swirling holographic displays surrounding them. Her Earth Defense Command uniform, with its subtle quantum thread shimmer, seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. That is correct, first speaker. 1 ship is all we require. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Representatives from over 300 species shifted uncomfortably in their environmental pods. The Arxian delegates' tentacles writhed with skepticism, while the Varaxian ambassador's chrome-plated exoskeleton buzzed with barely contained indignation. Impossible, declared High Commander Rax of the Mechanoid Collective, his optical sensors flaring. Our scans indicate your vessel is merely 300 meters in length. The energy signatures are inconsistent. This must be some form of deception. Thora's lips curved into a subtle smile. I assure you, Commander, we practice no deception. Humanity simply learned to ask different questions during our 50 years of isolation. While the galaxy focused on how to bend space to their will, we learned to listen to it instead. The Quantum Forge hung in space beyond the Council Station's crystalline windows, its hull seeming to shift between states of matter like a mirage. One moment it appeared solid as neutron star matter, the next transparent as quantum foam. Sensors couldn't agree on its mass, energy output, or even its exact position in spacetime. First speaker Nixthar's patterns pulsed with curiosity. Explain. Perhaps a demonstration would be more effective, Thora suggested. She raised her hand, and the Quantum Forge began to sing. It wasn't sound as most species understood it. It was a harmony that resonated with the fundamental frequencies of reality itself. The ship's hull rippled like water, and suddenly there were echoes of it across multiple dimensions, each one as real as the original. Impossible, High Commander Rax exclaimed again, but with less certainty. What you're seeing, Thora explained, is 1 ship existing in multiple probability states simultaneously. We learned that the universe isn't rigid. It's more like music. Instead of building bigger engines or more powerful weapons, we learned to sing in harmony with space-time itself. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. A civilization that had mastered such fundamental forces wouldn't need a fleet. They wouldn't need traditional weapons or defenses. They had transcended such concepts entirely. First speaker Nixthar's patterns had shifted to a deep indigo of revelation, and you offer to share this knowledge. With those who are ready to learn, yes, Thora confirmed. Humanity didn't isolate ourselves out of fear or hostility. We spent those 50 years learning a new way of thinking, of existing. Now we're ready to teach others, but only if they're willing to move beyond the old paradigms of force and dominance. The Quantum Forge's song changed pitch slightly, and reality rippled around it. For just a moment, every being in the council chamber caught a glimpse of what the universe looked like through human eyes. Not a battlefield to be conquered or a resource to be exploited, but a symphony waiting to be joined. We sent 1 ship, Thora concluded, because we wanted to show you that there's another way. The question isn't how many ships you have, or how powerful your weapons are. The question is, are you ready to learn how to sing? As the council chambers erupted in excited discussion, first speaker Nixthar realized that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity hadn't come as conquerors or supplicants, but as teachers, and they had sent exactly what they needed, 1 ship, to show the way to a new understanding of reality itself. Captain Ryland Drake stood in the Quantum Forge's demonstration chamber, watching as delegates from 20 different species tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The chamber itself seemed to defy physics, expanding and contracting like a living thing, its walls shimmering with quantum possibilities. Dr. Nadira Hassan, the ship's chief scientist, manipulated the harmonic controls with practiced ease. Her dark hands moved through the holographic interface as if conducting an orchestra, each gesture causing ripples in the fabric of reality itself. What you're about to witness, she explained to the assembled delegates, is how humanity learned to speak the universe's native language. Her fingers traced a complex pattern, and the chamber filled with visible quantum strings, vibrating in perfect harmony. The mechanoid representative, Unit 7, raised its sensory array. Our calculations indicate this should be impossible. The energy requirements alone. That's because you're thinking in terms of forcing reality to bend. Rylan interrupted gently. We don't force anything. We understand. Nadira nodded, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. Watch this. She hummed a single note, and the quantum forge responded. The quantum strings began to resonate with her voice, creating patterns that shouldn't have been possible in normal spacetime. The chamber shifted, and suddenly, they were all standing in what appeared to be the core of a star. Heat and pressure surrounded them, yet no one felt uncomfortable. The delegates gasped and chittered in their various languages as they realized they were experiencing stellar fusion at an atomic level. We're not actually inside a star, Nadira explained, her voice calm as she guided them through the experience. We've simply aligned our local space-time frequency with the star's quantum signature. We can observe without interfering, learn without destroying. A crystalline elder named Pextel chimed in curiosity. This is how you achieve faster-than-light travel. In a way, Rylan confirmed. Traditional FTL tries to break the universe's speed limit. We learn there's no need to break it when you can simply ask space-time to resonate it differently for a moment. To demonstrate, Nadira adjusted the harmonics again. The star view dissolved, and they found themselves looking at multiple versions of the quantum forge, each existing in a slightly different probability state. With another gesture, she merged these states into a single possibility, effectively moving the ship across vast distances without ever technically traveling through the intervening space. The universe, she explained, isn't a rigid construct of rules that must be broken or overcome. It's a symphony of possibilities, each one as real as the last. We simply learned how to change our tune to match the melody we want to hear. The delegates watched in stunned silence as Nadira continued her demonstration, showing them how humanity had learned to work with reality rather than against it. She showed them how quantum harmonics could be used to clean polluted worlds, heal dying stars, and even communicate across dimensional boundaries. This is why we came with one ship, Rylan explained as the demonstration concluded. We don't need a fleet because we're not here to fight. We're here to teach, to share, to help others understand that the universe is far more wonderful and strange than anyone imagined. The Drachnid war fleet materialized from hyperspace like a swarm of metal locusts, their obsidian hulls reflecting the light of distant stars. 50 warships, arranged in the infamous Death's Crown formation that had brought 12 star systems to their knees. Warlord Kexthor stood on his flagship's command deck, his scaled hide gleaming with anticipation as he regarded the lone human vessel. So these are the singers, he growled, mandibles clicking in amusement. Let's see how well they perform under pressure. Lieutenant Genoway watched the Drachnid fleet's approach from the Quantum Forge's Harmony Chamber, her expression serene despite the overwhelming odds. The chamber itself thrummed with quiet energy, quantum possibilities dancing around her like autumn leaves in a breeze. They're charging weapons, reported the ship's tactical officer. All 50 ships. Jenna nodded, placing her hands on the harmonic interface. Let them. It's time they understood why we don't need weapons. Kexthor's voice boomed across all frequencies. Surrender your ship and its harmony technology to the Drachnid Empire, or we will take it by force. You have 1 minute to comply. Instead of responding with words, Jenna began to sing. It wasn't a song in any conventional sense, but rather a complex series of quantum harmonies that resonated with the very fabric of space-time. The quantum forge amplified her harmonics, sending ripples through reality itself. On the Drachnid flagship, Kex Thor's tactical officer suddenly shouted in confusion, "My lord, their ship, it's everywhere and nowhere at once." The space around the quantum forge began to shimmer, and suddenly one ship became many. Not copies or projections, but the same ship existing in multiple probability states simultaneously. 51 versions of the quantum forge, one for each Drachnid vessel, and one remaining in its original position. "Impossible," Kex Thor snarled. "Target all of them." "We can't, my lord," the tactical officer replied, mandibles trembling. "Our targeting systems can't lock onto something that exists in multiple states of reality at once." Jenna's voice, calm and clear, echoed through space. "This is why we only needed one ship, Warlord. We don't think in terms of numbers or firepower. We think in terms of possibilities." The harmonics shifted, and space itself began to fold around the Drachnid fleet. Stars seemed to stretch and blur, and suddenly the massive warships looked tiny against the distorted backdrop of space-time. "Right now," Jenna continued, "your entire fleet exists in a space roughly the size of a small asteroid. From your perspective, nothing has changed. From outside," she let the implication hang in the void. Kex Thor's bridge crew watched in horror as their sensors confirmed the truth. Their mighty fleet, terror of 12 systems, had been compressed into a space barely large enough to hold a single shuttle. They hadn't been harmed. Reality had simply been adjusted around them. "This is your warning," Jenna stated firmly. "Humanity has no interest in conquest or dominion. We sent one ship because one is all we need, not for war, but for protection. We can reverse this compression field and send you home, or we can study how long a fleet can survive in compressed space-time. The choice is yours." The silence stretched for a long moment before Kex Thor's voice returned, noticeably subdued. We will withdraw." The harmonics shifted again, space unfolded, and the Drachnid fleet regained its normal dimensions. They retreated in formation, their once threatening appearance somehow diminished. As the last Drachnid ship disappeared into hyperspace, Jenna lowered her hands from the harmonic interface. "They're beginning to understand," she said softly. "We didn't send a fleet because we've moved beyond the need for one. The only question is, who else is ready to learn?" The quantum forge hung silently in space, its quantum harmonics humming a gentle reminder that there were better ways to interact with the universe than through force. The galaxy was changing, one lesson at a time. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council had never hosted such a diverse gathering. Ambassador Marcus Rodriguez looked out over the sea of beings, crystalline entities floating in containment fields, energy beings shimming in specially designed matrices, organic species of all shapes and sizes in their environmental suits, all united by a single purpose: learning humanity's harmony technology. Council Elder Zykra, her bioluminescent patterns shifting with excitement, addressed the assembled representatives. "Today marks the beginning of a new era. The humans have agreed to establish the first Harmony Academy, where selected individuals from all peaceful species can learn their revolutionary approach to universal physics." Marcus stepped forward, his dark skin contrasting with the pure white of his diplomatic robes. "What we offer isn't just technology," he began, his voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "It's a fundamental shift in how we perceive and interact with reality itself." He gestured, and the quantum forge appeared in the space above the assembly, not as a hologram, but as a quantum projection, existing simultaneously in multiple probability states. For too long, species have approached space travel and technological advancement as a battle against universal constants. We build bigger engines to overcome the speed of light, more powerful weapons to dominate others, stronger shields to protect ourselves. The ship's quantum harmonics began to resonate through the chamber, creating patterns of light and energy that danced around the assembled delegates. "But the universe isn't our enemy. It's not a barrier to be overcome or a resource to be exploited. It's a partner in an endless dance of possibility. Zikra's patterns pulsed with understanding. You mean to fundamentally change how our civilizations develop? Yes, Marcus confirmed, but only for those who choose to learn. We won't force this knowledge on anyone. The Academy will accept only those who truly wish to understand, who are ready to set aside old ways of thinking. The chamber erupted in discussion as delegates debated this unprecedented opportunity. Some species, like the crystalline harmonious collective, immediately pledged to send their brightest minds. Others, particularly those with military-focused societies, remained skeptical. "What guarantees do we have?" demanded the Vexoid ambassador, their plasma form flickering with suspicion, "that this knowledge won't be used against those who choose not to participate?" Marcus smiled gently. The very nature of harmony technology makes it impossible to use as a weapon of aggression. It requires a fundamental understanding that all things are connected, that harming others ultimately harms oneself. Those who master it naturally move beyond the desire for conquest. To demonstrate, he initiated a harmony sequence. The quantum projection of the forge began to sing, its frequencies resonating with the fundamental forces of reality. The assembled delegates gasped as they felt themselves becoming part of a vast, interconnected web of quantum possibilities. "This is what we see," Marcus explained softly. "Every moment, every choice, every particle of existence connected in an endless dance of probability. Once you truly understand this, the very idea of warfare becomes as obsolete as fighting against gravity." Zikra raised her crystalline appendages in a gesture of acceptance. "Then let us begin. The Academy will be established on the neutral world of Haven, where all species can come together as equals to learn this new way of thinking." As the assembly concluded, Marcus watched the delegates departing, each carrying with them the seeds of a transformation that would reshape galactic civilization. Humanity hadn't come to conquer the galaxy. They had come to help it evolve. 5 years after the establishment of the Harmony Academy, the galaxy had changed in ways few could have imagined. The quantum forge still orbited Haven, but it was no longer alone. Not because it had been joined by other ships, but because reality itself had evolved. The graduation ceremony of the Academy's first class brought together all those who had witnessed humanity's initial arrival. Admiral Thora Vasquez stood alongside first speaker Nexthar, watching as students from 100 different species demonstrated their mastery of harmony technology. "They've surpassed our expectations," Thor observed as a crystalline graduate merged with quantum probability waves, existing in multiple states simultaneously. "Some of them are already developing applications we never considered." Nexthar's patterns shifted in agreement. "The Arctians have adapted your harmonics to heal dying stars. The Varaxian collective has learned to sing to asteroids, reshaping them into habitable worlds without mining or destruction." In the space above Haven, graduates demonstrated their achievements. A team of energy beings had learned to create stable quantum corridors between galaxies, making intergalactic travel possible without the need for generation ships or stasis technology. A group of organic and synthetic species had collaborated to develop harmony-based communication that transcended traditional language barriers. Dr. Nadira Hassan, now the Academy's lead instructor, approached with Captain Ryland Drake. "The real breakthrough," she said, "wasn't teaching them the technology. It was helping them understand that the universe isn't a collection of separate parts fighting against each other. It's a single, infinite symphony." Lieutenant Jenna Wei, who had faced down the Drachnid fleet years ago, nodded in agreement. "Even the Drachnids have begun to change. Their new representatives arrive next month to begin their training." The ceremony reached its climax as all the graduates joined in a harmony that reached across space and time. The quantum resonance of 100 different species singing together created patterns of reality that had never existed before. Stars danced, space folded and unfolded like origami. And for a moment, everyone present could see the infinite possibilities that lay before them. Ambassador Rodriguez stepped forward to address the gathering. 5 years ago, we came with one ship to show you a new way of thinking. Today, you've shown us that we barely glimpsed the potential of what was possible. Each of you will return to your peoples not as warriors or conquerors, but as teachers and explorers. The Quantum Forge's harmonics joined with the graduates' song, creating a symphony that echoed across the galaxy. On thousands of worlds, beings looked up at their skies and felt the change in the very fabric of reality. The age of warfare and conquest was ending, replaced by an era of exploration and understanding. "This is why we only needed one ship," Thora said softly, watching the quantum lights dance across space. "Not because we were powerful, but because we knew that true change doesn't come from force. It comes from showing others the possibility of a better way." Above Haven, reality rippled with new possibilities as the graduates prepared to return to their homeworlds. They would carry with them not weapons or technology, but a fundamental truth. The universe wasn't a battlefield to be conquered, but a song waiting to be joined. The revolution wasn't fought with fleets or weapons. It was won with a single ship, a new way of thinking, and the understanding that in the end, all of existence was connected in a dance of infinite possibility. Humanity had come not to rule the galaxy, but to help it learn to sing.